Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chalky&Company. My name is Buffy Dumont. I'm CEO of Chalky&Company, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. There's a couple of things that I want to go over with you, a little bit of some tidbits for you stenciling folks out there. So many of our Paint It Chalky kits are absolutely beautiful, just natural, with our beautiful Java gel or our wonderful glaze, or even just simply our Painter's Choice line of any color. But some of our Paint It Chalky kits have super duper adorable stencils. And stencils can be stubborn, and stencils can end up looking amazing. And it's a process, like any amazing thing. So today we're going to go over two different types of tips that we use for our stencils. We are going to be using our Paint It Chalky Celebration, and we love this one because it is our chevron banner kit. Our chevron banner kit is made of Maine pine, and it hangs delicately over maybe some jute string or even some beautiful white ribbon. There's so many things you can do with our celebration kit because Easter comes and you can spell out Easter, you could spell out happy, you could spell out family, you can even have a baby shower and spell out it's girl or it's a boy or anything, or baby. Our celebration kit is amazing for any holiday season, or just maybe for your daughter's bedroom or your son's bedroom. It would be perfect for our son. His name is Ben, and we spelt out Ben, and we let him personally decorate one of the banners. So it's also a really adorable, fun kit to do with your children. So let's begin. What I do is I use my Painter's Choice empty containers, and I have added my painter's powder, my Chalky&Company painter's powder, with the directions that are provided on the back of the painter's powder. I added some water, and I like my painter's powder chalky because I'm that rustic vintage girl. So I put extra painter's powder in here because we have created our painter's powder to be flexible with the person's decor or the look that they desire. So I have already pre-made my amazing painter's powder chalky paint. There we go. We've stirred it all up to fluff it up. And I made this probably about 2 weeks ago. So it's been in a holding cell in here, and it's all ready to go even 2 weeks later. We have yet to determine an expiration date on our fabulous Painter's Choice in our painter's powder because, quite frankly, we've had it for many, many months. So what we're going to do today, I use our foam brush here. So I'm going to very quickly and with so much fun paint this chevron right up our wonderful stormy sky blue. I love stormy skies because with a little bit of pitch black glaze on here, I get that nice rustic look, or if I'm looking for that shabby chic ocean look. We love Cape Cod in Massachusetts, or our wonderful Maine coast, and winter white glaze goes fabulous with our stormy skies, giving that nice cottage feel. So I just very quickly did this. Did you see how quick that was? And that's what's really cool about our product line, is that when you add painter's powder into our Painter's Choice line, it thins out your paint, leaving you to have to not use as much. So when you're painting our products with painter's powder, you're going to use far less paint. So you're not going to paint it like it's a wall. You're not going to paint it like we normally are accustomed to painting and learn how to paint. You're going to paint it carefully and far less. So much paint goes a long, long ways. So there we go. So I'm going in one direction to have a nice seamless look. We're going to put this on the side, and we're going to go for stencil. We're going to go for our next banner here, and that is because we're going to do two different tips. Painter's powder was designed to give a nice distressed look, to eliminate sanding, and to eliminate any type of priming. But there are going to be some cases where you need to prime and you're going to need to sand. And that's especially for any type of restoration of your furniture, because we need to rid any type of debris found on any furniture that we find on the side of the road. So understand that sometimes our furniture might look super clean when we're restoring it, but it might need a very gentle sand job on it. So there we go. We're going to put those right down there. So here we are. We're going to let that dry. It takes about 10 to 12 minutes. I like to go for the full 15 in any type of party that I have, because I need that extra security in knowing it's going to dry quickly. And that's quite frankly because sometimes we tend to paint and overpaint and use too much paint. So we definitely want to go ahead and eliminate that drying time by painting less. Now let's say you have that customer that has painted a super lot. What you're going to do is go over to your customer and you're going to very gently let them know, okay, well, why don't we go ahead and thin this out? So you take your sponge brush and you're going to go ahead and go over it with a sponge brush, absorbing some of that excess paint that just doesn't belong on our projects. Okay, so it's already drying fabulous. I like it a lot. So with our celebration kit, oh, I'm getting my apron all dirty, but it's okay because it is my goal to get this full of paint. Here we have our top coats. We have our brand new flat out flat coat. I love the flat out flat because it acts much like a wax acts. It gives a nice shine, but also a protection. So I'm really liking our flat out flat. Over here we have our top coat. It is a glaze effect water-based product. It's a high performance flat top coat. At all of my parties, I love to bring my tweezers. Tweezers are super important, especially with stencils. I also bring, if we don't have tweezers, some people are using these amazing floss strips. So we are using floss strips to pick up our stencils. I always have an extra set of scissors and a flathead. Really, really important in determining or having a very successful stenciling experience. All right, so what I do is I grab our stencils, and we'll use the H today, and we are absolutely dry. Look at that. So today, on one of our tips, what we do is we pull when it is wet. So I am pulling the back of the stencil, and weather has everything to do with how floppy our stencils are. So that humidity really could get to your stencils and it can make it ugly. So stencils can be stubborn. Any type of brand, any type of stubborn stencils can be stubborn. So what I'm doing right now is applying, and I'm going to go ahead and do a gentle rub on that. Now, because this paint, our chalky paint, any type of chalky paint, a stencil needs a firm back, a firm surface to attach itself to. And any type of chalky paint and any type of stencil don't partner well up to each other. So you have to be far more patient and far more creative. So when I lift my stencil off of my product, I roll it back. I am not lifting it up, because what you're doing is separating your stencil away from your project, and that contradicts what you want. So you want it to stay there. So I literally take my hand and I rub it back. I'm pulling it back against the stencil with the palm of my hand. So I'm pulling it back, and yes, it's going to lift a little bit, and you're just going to very patiently apply it on. There we go. And it lifted up slightly, and I'm pushing it right back down, and it's staying. So there we go. And I am rolling it back still. And this can be challenging when your stencil is super big. Of course it's going to be. But anything that's worth messing around with. Here we go. Perfect. All right. Now, my ends came off just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take my stencil and fit it to the naked eye. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take my edges and I'm going to stick it on there, and if you see any bubbles, you're going to take your finger and roll it around the stencil, not on the outer layer, but where the stencil is. All right, so here we go. What I'm going to do at this point is use the original color of my base of my product, and that acts as a sealer. So I'm going to go ahead at this point and seal it. Okay, I'm going to seal it. And what that does is it fills any empty air pockets that I potentially could have. Very good. So we're going to put this aside and let that dry. And we're going to go ahead and take our other banner. We're going to take our other banner, but this time we're going to, our second banner, we're going to apply some flat out flat. And I'm going to create a protection on my project, okay? I'm going to create a layer that the stencil can grip onto. A layer that the stencil can grip onto. I love this flat out flat. I love it. It's gorgeous. If you could only see. Well, you will after. How's that? All right. Here we go. And I'm simply using just a little. You do not need to layer this on either. Okay. Here we go. One more. And what I'm doing right now is brushing over and over because I'm lifting up any excess product that I don't want on there, creating lines. I also use a puppy pad, and I use that as my cloth. I'm always using that to take the excess off of my project. Ta-da! All right, so we have begun 2 ways to stencil. We're going to let that top coat dry 15 minutes, and normally a top coat like that needs an actual 2 hours to dry, but we're going to go ahead and test how well our product is today. All right, we are still drying over there. Fantastic. So at my party, I go ahead and jump in with all of my customers. I sit down with them and I paint with them. I normally choose a project that's not at the party so that they can experience what another project looks like. I like having parties that have collections of projects, and that's so all of your customers can look across the table and say, ooh, I like that one. I'd like to do that next month. Who wants to join me at my party next month? And next thing you know, you're booking more parties. Our business model is designed to have monthly bookings, not based on a catalog change. Our catalog is just an outlet of a lookbook that provides some type of unified way of looking at all the projects in one. But our business model is based on monthly bookings, not seasonal bookings. Our catalogs are August 1st until July, at the end of July, and our spring summer begins February 1st. Because quite frankly, I am ready for spring summer. February 1st, I'm done with the holiday season, and I'm certainly done here in Maine with the snow. That's a little bit about our catalogs. Every month, we add a Paint It Chalky kit, and we love this because it's based on the season, the month, and even some consultants' ideas. We love taking consultant ideas and implementing it monthly and keeping the action moving and grooving, and even stimulating more parties for our consultants. There we go. So at a party, I also definitely buy up at the end of spring, summer, because buy up on your vinyl tablecloths, because those tablecloths are wonderful. The outside tablecloth vinyls are easy to clean. I do provide puppy pads for every station that I have at the kitchen table, and I call them stations because that really is what we have. We have their own little station. They walk into a party and they find their names. I like to do little name tags. I make name tags for each station so that they can look for their name and find their Paint It Chalky kit that they purchased weeks before. All right, our base coat looks like it is dry. I'm going to use my, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and use my floss here. Let's make sure we're all set and all even for our final coat. All right, where's my paint? Here, I'm going to take the 1-inch brush, and I am not going to apply a very thick layer. If I have to use 2 coats and I'm that person that wants my words to shout out, then I'm going to apply instead 2 thin layers. I'm not going to paint on, I'm going to dab on, being very respectful of my edges. So right now I am dabbing, and I'm using the edge of my foam brush. I really love the foam brush because it has such a straight edge that applies and works nicely with my stencils. All right. So I always work directly out of my painter's choice jar because it stays for so long. All right, perfect. We're going to put this right here. And we're going to now take a peek at our top coat. We're good. We're good. We're in like Flynn. All right, let's take another stencil and apply this little bad boy on here. So Chalky&Company was formed June 1st. Dan Dumont and myself, Dan is my husband, and together we work jointly and operate side by side with our consultants in building a very amazing, very family-oriented company. It is our vision. It is our vision that you include your grandchildren, your children. We want your whole family to experience Chalky&Company. Because sure, we're painting at Chalky, but we want to invite our company over to enjoy it with us. We grew up in a very French heritage, where all of the grandparents, which we call memes and pepes, and all of the aunts and uncles, which we call matants and manoks. I grew up in the French heritage where we always sat in a circle. Our aunts and uncles always sat in a circle, and it is in that circle where they bond. Ta-da! This was way too easy this time. Yee, good, good, good. They would sit in a circle and they would share stories. They would sing together. One would go in the middle and even have a little bit of French dancing. I remember our parents used to sit in a circle and play spoons. They would take 2 spoons and make some musical instruments. But together they were creative, and together there were tears, and together there were laughter. And that is my vision for Chalky&Company, to have our own little circles in our homes and together feel and be amazing as you make our rustic memories frame, and maybe even bring pictures to your parties and have them apply it right there so that they could tell us about the picture and tell us why this is important to them and tell us the memory behind the picture as they apply it to the Paint at Chalky kit. We want a total experience, a total emotional experience with our parties. So here is our stencil, and now I'm going to go back to my white, but as you remember, we went ahead and applied our our flat out flat product on here. And so now we are going to apply a base coat to this to seal it. If you remember, we want to seal it. And the sealer prevents any type of leaking underneath or any type of bleeding. But if it does bleed, it's super easy to fix because our straight edge foam brushes, it allows you to go over the letters once they're dry. All right, we're going to let this dry, and here we are. Okay, let's put this right here. Okay, so this paint is still pretty wet, and this first technique is we're going to pull it while it's wet. Okay, we're going to pull it. We're not going to let this dry. We're going to pull it really quick while it's wet. So I did the O, okay? I'm not giving this product time to dry because this is a technique. Boom, there we go. So here you are. Here's our O. There is a slight leak right there, but I'm going to teach you how to take care of that. So here you go. This is technique number 1. You're going to apply your base coat. You're going to apply your stencil. You are going to then apply the original base coat onto the stencil. Let that dry completely. Then you're going to go ahead and paint it, and you're going to, within 3 to 5 minutes, yank it right off, not letting it dry whatsoever. Okay, and that's because when you take your stencil off right away, what it does is it starts running after 8 to 12 to 15 minutes, and it finds other locations. You want to just pull it right off right away. We're going to let that dry, and we're going to go back over here, and we're going to yank this stencil off. This has completely, nope, you know what, we're going to put another coat because I applied a thin coat, and our top, this is the one with the flat, our top coat needs another one because I like this loud. I want my letters to be loud. Okay, my H is going to look gorgeous. We'll let that dry a little bit longer. So at my party, the exciting piece is it's not a sales force at my parties. What it is an evening of just relaxing. I love going to my own parties because I sit around and the most I do are clean brushes. I even go and I say, can I fill anybody's water or anything like that. I become kind of like the waitress, but very serving, and that's what we want. We want to be able to serve our customers while they relax, while we're answering questions. And like I'm doing now, as everybody's painting, I'll go around and I'll say, has anybody ever heard of Flat Out Flat? And I'll ask them questions and then inform them of what they're using and what other products that we have. I never mention price or anything like that because we're not there for the price, we're there for the experience. Everything else just naturally follows. Okay, so we have all of our, I'm the trash picker-upper too at the party. I go around, I'm collecting their stencils or even passing out napkins. I always have napkins in my pocket to give to them. I fold them up and I pass them out. I always design a little embellishment table. I always have an embellishment table because they know that we have the paint table, and I bring a little card table on the side, and my daughter definitely assembles the embellishment table. I let her design it the way she wants, and she always brings a flower from our garden, or we stop at the local flower store in the winter and go ahead and purchase a flower. She loves to have a fresh flower on her embellishment table. We put that there, and she has a nice cloth, and she has them out laid out perfectly. What she does is she takes her painted chalk, the customer's Chalky, a painted Chalky kit. She sets it down, and sometimes they already know what they want, but other times she assembles a look on her kit. So she assembles the look and says, okay, do you like this? What would you like to change about this? And then they'll pull whatever they want out, and they will determine what embellishment they want to purchase at the party. All right, let's go ahead and pull this off because it is dry. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so I'm going to share with you the final product. Okay, so we have two celebration banners that we worked on today. The first one is my H. This is, this is the one without the top coat. Okay, this is the one without the top coat, and the key to this is taking it off within 3 to 5 minutes while it's wet. The second one was my O, if you recall. And we did have a little bit of a bleed. This is our top coat, but it definitely did not pick up the paint of the base whatsoever because it had something to grip onto. So what I'm going to do right now is fix my little bleed. And again, my straight edge is a perfect instrument to use. And what I'm doing right now is just simply following the line and picking up and straightening. This not only teaches them that if they have a mess up at home or any type of something happened that they didn't think that would, that they are capable of fixing this. So you just go in there and ta-da! Oh, I love it. So let me go ahead and share that with you. Again, I had a bleed and now it's all better. So we're going to set that aside to dry. So there you have it. Those are our stenciling tips. Nothing is going to be an absolutely perfect situation, and sometimes our stencils or any other stencils may not adhere to it as quickly as we want. But we definitely don't want to let them see you sweat. So what I would do, oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and fix this too. The H is pretty, but I think I want to straighten those lines a little bit better. There we go. Oh, I like that much better. It kind of gives it a nice final look. Okay, and I know you can't see it too much. All right. So there you have it. And quite frankly, I think I might have put the H upside down. Beautiful. I'm so excited for you. So these are our stencils, and absolutely that we're going to run into some weather conditions that affect our stencils. But no weather condition will affect my attitude. And I will always be, nothing is so broken that it can't be fixed. Because it is supposed to be a fun experience. Stencils are challenging, but our Paint It Chalky experience is just simply fun. So use your imagination, use that creativity that you have, and use that never let them see you sweat attitude. Bring it to the party, and they're going to leave happy, I assure you. So any other questions, go ahead and post it to the thread. I would be happy to answer any questions. And I hope that this morning's stencil tips allows you to have a much better, successful party. I think that one tip that has come out of it that is absolutely necessary is putting that base coat on your stencil that matches the base coat underneath it. So this will allow sealing, and we definitely want to seal. All right, folks, I hope you have an amazing day. We're here in Maine enjoying our beautiful weather. Dan is in the workshop, which you could probably hear, and Sarah and Gil are in our mudroom packaging. So things are moving and grooving here in Maine, and much, much more successfully than we can ever imagine, and that is because you. Thank you so much for being so dedicated and so loyal and so contributing with all of your suggestions. We couldn't do it without you. Have a beautiful day, and I'm going to scoot over here and end it, and I'm just going to tell you to not forget to be bold. Don't ever forget to be beautiful, but most importantly, don't forget to be you. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.